Hello, YouTube friends. We are on location today with Aaron Alexander. We were deciding about, he's read cues. We were talking about which hand gesture to use at the very beginning. Today we're doing a very unique video. We're going to be talking about postural fixes, both long-term and short-term. I read Aaron's amazing book, and right away in the book, you blew my mind. He talked about how our posture also shapes our mindset. So correct me if I'm wrong. So what they did at Ohio State University is they took two groups of people. One group of people, they were in like a hunched over position, like how you are when you're on your worst day, like crumpled in, hunched over. They had them write 3 traits of themselves, 3 traits for a career.
3 positive traits and 3 negative.
3 negative traits, okay. The second group, they had them be in a really confident posture and they had them write 3 negative and 3 positive. Did I get that right?
Both groups.
Okay, then what happened?
And so then after that, they were asked to identify with the traits. And what they found was the groups, both sides, it was easier for them to identify with the positive traits when they were in the upright, comfortable, strong, stacked position.
Yes.
And easier for them to identify with the negative in quotation traits when they were in the hunched over, sad, melancholy position. And for both of them, when they were in an upright position, it was easier for them to identify with the statements in general. So what it suggests is that when we're in an open postural expression, when we're in a place of feeling confidence, like we trust ourselves and other people can trust us as well, even the words that we're speaking, they feel more congruent, which is very important.
Yes, so I think I talk about body language a lot from just a physical perspective, but there's so much happening emotionally. And so that's the one myth that I wanted to bust, is that it's actually helping your internal confidence, your external confidence. It makes you think better about yourself. The second myth that I want you to bust, which you busted really well in the book, was that most people think about posture from like, they just puff their chest out. It's all from the chest up or the rib cage up. Can you explain why that doesn't work?
Yeah. So oftentimes a myth, like you put it, we have the story that people are only perceiving us from chest up.
Yeah.
And so if you're feeling kind of a little slumped over, you're feeling tired, any of those things, you're kind of in this position, you'll switch yourself around and you go, and you're here, shoulders back, chest back,
chin up,
exposing my vital organs, my throat. You can trust me, I'm confident.
Yes, all from here.
All from here.
Yeah.
But then down here, what you're doing is you're squashing all of that stress and imbalance down into your lower back. And so what's happening there is by flaring your ribs open like this, you're sending a signal to your internal physiology, literally shutting down your access to power. Your central nervous system doesn't trust your stability and safety in your spinal column when you're in this dumped position. And so something that we can do to come back and actually create true, meaningful confidence
That's what I want.
and congruence through the entirety of the body is to start with the feet.
Okay. Tell me how that works.
Here we go.
I wore cute shoes today just so we could talk about
Very
this.
nice. I love them. So my shoes allow my feet to spread all the way, which feels good for me. I think being barefoot is also a beautiful thing.
Love it, yes.
If you're ever, maybe it's speaking, maybe it's like, it might be appropriate for people to see your feet barefoot, maybe not.
Video calls.
But if they don't see
it,
it, I would highly recommend allowing your feet to absolutely spread. So starting off, just just gonna jump around a bit. And just notice where your feet land for you to be most stacked. So come a little bit more narrow, just as an experiment. Because if we're wide, the tendency is going to be put a little bit more of this valgus strain on the knees. You're going to drop medially.
Yeah, you're right. If they're slightly in, I go straight, more straight.
Boom.
Yep.
And so we're starting off just like we're building, a tower. We're going to start off with a good, strong foundation. We want to have all of those joints aligned from the feet all the way up. Right?
My toes all the way through the flats of my feet all the way up.
Of course. I love it. So the next position that we're going to play with, I'm just going to experiment with a little thing. I'm going to push down on Vanessa's shoulders, if that's okay.
Is
that beautiful? So I'm going to push down your shoulders. So so you already corrected. Vanessa's very smart. Very somatically intelligent, this Vanessa.
All right.
So as I'm coming down through here, what I'm feeling is you actually kind of corrected that rib
Which
situation.
makes me feel stronger because I have the tendency to flare.
Push through. Yes. That's very exciting.
Okay, so for people at home,
well, let's do the opposite path.
Let's do the opposite.
So let's go into like the faux confident posture. So I'm going
like this.
So from that position, as I push down through, it ends up. Probably even like hurts.
It did not feel
potentially.
Good. It was just
or you feel like any more load. I
feel like I want to go back.
So that sensation of feeling stable and supported while you're standing can start from the feet And then moving up into thinking about your relationship of your pelvis or your ribs to your pelvis.
Yes.
So if you're flaring the ribs, that's going to be problematic. A cue for folks to play with is just slightly tuck the ribs down towards the hips and relax, breathe. Just allow yourself to sink into your skeleton.
It's so counterintuitive because when I always think about, and I've been doing this wrong for years, when I think about powerful posture, I think about expansion, which makes me lift up, but actually going down makes me feel more solid. It makes me not rock. So it's actually more, makes you feel like you're on more of a foundation.
Yep. And you're also you go into more of a sympathetic breathing style. So if you're here, you get less breath.
Yeah.
So a next cue to be playing with is paying attention to where we're breathing.
Yeah.
So breathing in through the nose is going to be absolutely borderline mandatory for a confident, strong
And
position.
I never talk about where to breathe, by the way. So breathing into the nose, not just, people often go,
yes.
That's
So what happens when you're scared? You go, right.
literally, that's part of the micro expression of fear is we go,
Yes.
yeah.
So feeling confident is going to start with the feet, come up into
so feet
orientation of the pelvis and
aligned,
the ribs.
tilted down.
You get a full breath. Now we're breathing through the nose.
Yeah.
Bring your hands to the side of your ribs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So feel your breath moving horizontally, going outward with as you're coming in. Slow the breath down a little bit. Right? We're sinking into ourselves. We're feeling more comfortable in our bodies.
It also makes my ribs go down as opposed to.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is a true, confident, stable, secure,
Powerhouse.
I trust you.
Right. I trust myself.
Exactly.
Right.
Right? I feel like you could bear weight.
Yeah.
You could bear weight in this company, you could bear weight in this relationship. You're not going to break in 2 months.
Right.
a
Which
big
is what we
deal.
want from our leaders. So we did the posture hypnosis. Long term, you have a couple of exercises that I've been loving that you use with bands to help if you want to address this long term. Can you give us a couple quick tips on that?
Yes.
Okay.
So one of the things, if we go into this fight flight
Yes.
postural pattern, scared, right?
Yeah.
Right? Or any of that, you're going to get tension in and around these muscles in the neck and the shoulders and the front of the shoulder. You might go into a guarding position like so. You might go into a forward head postural pattern. You're essentially guarding your vital organs.
Yeah.
So to open that up and truly create structural change, so it's not something you're faking it until you're making it, it's just who you are.
Yes.
Something we can play with is starting to just
Aaron knows how important it is to me to not fake till we make it, so I like it. Retain the long term.
Yeah, so something to tinker with. Anytime we're doing any kind of exercise, all those same principles that we just talked about, those will continue.
Yeah.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to bring a band in around our shoulder, like so, and I'll do it with you. I'm going to do it really quickly with myself. So you're going to step yourself forward. My ribs stay tucked. I'm still having good, strong grounding in my feet. My feet are on railroad tracks. I step myself forward, and I'm getting this beautiful traction from my shoulder going down, which is the opposite of going into that panic state. I'm going to reach my hand back. I'm going to rotate my arm in. I'm going to turn my head to the right. So now I'm opening up through all of this connective tissue, in through the neck, in through the shoulders. It's literally, you're training or you're mobilizing a relaxed, stable, strong, confident position.
Yes. Can I try to do it?
Yeah,
but don't tell me. I'm going to try to do it.
Here we go.
There we go. Okay. So see how good I was listening. Okay, so we go forward, same principle, ribs in. Does it matter which leg I go forward?
You're going to step the left leg forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so then I'm going to put it here.
Boom.
Right there.
Bang out.
And then
step yourself forward, drop, bring yourself down a little bit more so it's actually pulling the shoulder down. Yes.
Oh yeah, because then that pulls it down, which is away from my ears.
Yep. Now actively open the hand wide and reach. So you're actually growing through your own system. Beautiful.
I can actually feel it all the way through my arm.
Great. Amazing.
Ooh.
I love this. So now turning your head the opposite direction. That way.
Because I tend to be a forward head person, so this is stretching in different
So
ways.
now we're starting to open up through all of the traps and the scalenes and platysma and all these unnecessary anatomical jargon, but opening up through this space, all of those muscles are tied into your autonomic nervous system. When they are bound up, when they're contracted, it's sending a signal to the rest of your physiology that you're stressed out. It's appropriate to send all the corollary hormones and neurotransmitters to say, okay, I'm stressed out. When we relax all that tissue, you're sending a new signal.
It's like looser now. I can feel it in here.
Oh, you might notice your voice change. You might notice your tone change.
Yeah.
You might notice the pacing.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, a little bit more.
So I shared these. This is just one exercise, by the way. I highly, highly, highly recommend the Align method. Also, you should go follow Aaron on Instagram. What's your Instagram handle?
Align Podcast.
Align Podcast. Go listen to the podcast. I recently went on the podcast. I want you to check it out because I think that we talk about body language in very temporary, short-term ways. This is the first video I think ever. I'm talking about some of the longer-term ways you can address it and all the exercises you can do, not just for physical fitness, but for your emotional and mental fitness. Aaron, I want to thank you so much for being on, for giving us his quick tips. Go check out his books. Go listen to his podcast. Go follow him on Instagram. Thank you so much.
And go listen to the beautiful Vanessa
on the
podcast.
Yes, and we talk about my forward neck movement, some of my own body language and movement issues that I think you might find interesting. I've never talked about before.
And there was an emotional moment.
We had an emotional moment.
We had an emotional moment.
He broke my brain. Go listen to it.
Yeah.
Yay, thank you.
Thank you.
Don't forget to check out all of these goodies. Okay. Are you ready?
I'm Listo.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I should put my hands not behind my back.
No.
Son of a
No. Okay. When I just
Are you
say,
recording?
When I, you can keep recording. What you can do is when I introduce you, you can be like, you'll give a little wavy wave.
I'll do one of these.
Like that.
Jazz hands?
That's
little
good.
jazz hands?
Yeah, it's gonna be perfect. It's good. You just have to be really visual. It's perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah.
You're shorter.
I'm getting down to your
No,
level.
you gotta get up there. Yeah, okay, good. Okay, good. I wear heels
Do one of
so we can be
these?
closer.
How about I
It's
go like
perfect.
this?
Just do that.
What they found was both people, they found when they were asked to, I gotta read.
When they're in the slump
God
position,
dang
I
it.
knew
God
it was gonna happen. I said, do you
Let
want
me read it again! I'm sorry.